activated. Give those a minute to appear. And we'll just wait on this a second. Oh, that one's gone. Okay, or gone. That one's up. Hold on. This is a good sign. Maybe. Maybe it's a good sign. Maybe it means nothing. Hard to say. But I do see it on the 1. Okay. All right. And let's see. Is the second one running? This one's good. I see it. Oh, let me make sure my... Wow. I doubt that you heard that, but my dog burped in a very loud fashion that I could hear. I've got 2 alerts on my phone. That's a good sign. That one I can see. Okay, they're both there. All right, well, we'll see. Okay, that one's live. Let's activate that. Weirdly, I didn't hear a beep. I should have heard a beep, shouldn't I have? Oh, I didn't hit the button yet. No, I should not have heard it yet. And I just remembered that we gave our dog a birthday toy that's very loud. So you will probably hear that in the background. Active. Yep. Well, nothing I can do about that, everybody. All right, we should hear this. There it is. Okay, good. Okay, let me get social stream working here, so bear with me a minute. Dashboard. Okay, we'll make that visible. I finally figured out how that should work. So let me do a test 1. Noise confirmed. Visual confirmed. I can close. Oh, I do have to hit the enter button there. And then I will do a test 2. Test 2. Terrest 2. It counts. Okay, so I can close this, and then I just need to make sure. I don't know why the Twitch thing doesn't show up now. It doesn't matter, but bring that up. Okay, there it is. And this will be test 3. And that is, it's really loud. That's okay. I'd rather have it be loud than not. Loud than not. I'd rather be able to hear it than not hear it. All right, so let's pull little participant tabs up. And I believe I can... to wait for that to be done. Okay, so this can be closed. Thank you. And let's just see here. Did that go through? It did. We can close this. Thank you. You know what, though? I did see a... Hold on. I want to see something. There was something that popped up here. Let me look here. What was that? All right. Let me find a window. Give me that. Thank you. Okay, let me just see something very quickly here. I did see a little warning pop up. I just want to make sure it's nothing I care about. I seriously doubt it is, but let me check it, make sure. So where did I go? I went to here and here, and where's the little live tab? What was it warning me about? Something about the bit rate. The stream's current bit rate is lower than the recommended. What's the? But this says it's fine. What are you talking about? The stream's blah, 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 blah. Use a stream bitrate of 6,800. Okay, and yet it says good? Is that in my... Wait, is that in these settings? Maybe it is. Let's see. No, not that. I wonder if it's in here. Well, I can't alter the settings on this anyway. You know what? I sort of have a hunch it doesn't matter. Stream, here it is. Server, blah, blah, blah. Maximum bandwidth is auto... Enhanced automatically optimizes your setting. Oh, that's for Twitch though. Oh, does it have different? Oh, you know, I'm not gonna mess with this. I don't care. It's fine. It's perfectly fine. This thing warns me, but I've seen that warning before. It's never mattered. Might mean a couple frames drop. You know what? I don't think any of you care. So let's go ahead and roll the intro. I'm gonna get a drink of water while that's going. Hold on a minute. Try not to put my cup down in a way that's going to fall, as I've done almost a couple of times. And let's see. What? Oh, I forgot to do the Let's View thing. Sorry. I just realized I did the other one. I did not do this one. And boom, there we go. Okay, everybody. Well, it is October, and that is the Halloween month. And what I'm going to be doing is I just finished watching Alien Earth. which I enjoyed a lot. I know a lot of people seem to not like it. I liked it quite a bit. And so I am drawing, and I guess this is sort of a spoiler, but at this point, I doubt it is, the sheep thing, whatever they're calling it, from Alien Earth, which was my favorite character of the entire show. So I've got the this blue background is probably not a great one to have with the pencil color, so maybe I'll shift this. Let's make it like, oh, I don't know, like an orange. There, that makes the blue pop really, really, really well. Okay, so basically the pencil work, as you can see, is done, and now I'm doing the actual ink with quotes around it work. So let's see, what layer are we on? What layer is this? Hold on a minute. I don't remember what I did in this layer. Wow, can't even find it. Where is it? Oh, did it say layer empty? Layer empty. Okay, good. Good. Okay, so let's start. We've got the small pen, I believe. Let me check. Yes. So this is like the fine hair pen, I guess. I'm trying to think of what I want to do here. Is this small enough? Let's see. That's pretty small. Whoops. Well, I didn't do anything else. I don't think I've done any other hairs yet inside the actual image. I mean, I suppose I could go down to 3. I don't know if that's going to be too small. Oh, sorry, hidden layer. Let me go back to there. Just look at it. See, I feel like that's too small. I think 5 is good. I think 5, 7, and 10 are what I want to work on. So yes, I am doing the sheep. And this is on mirrored. Yes, good. Because I'll have to get rid of some of this, but not all of it. So, yeah. So we're going to just start doing hair. Because I like the sheep creature immensely. And so, and it really isn't even a spoiler if you haven't seen any of the show, because the sheep thing, which I don't even know what it's defined as, but the sheep creature is so telegraphed as to what's going to happen that the minute you see the sheep, you know it's not going to stay a simple sheep for long. So I don't even consider that a spoiler, because even somebody who doesn't watch a lot of science fiction or whatever, it is so clear what's going to happen that I don't even consider it a spoiler to have this image on a public stream. I really don't. I think if you watch the show and you're paying even small attention, you're going to know instantly what's going to be coming when the sheep shows up. It's similar to in Jurassic Park when there's the goat. And it's one of those things where, that's not even a spoiler. If you're, somebody says, oh, the scene where the goat gets eaten by the T-Rex, that's not even a spoiler. Because the minute you see the goat, you know what it's there for. I mean, you really do. You instantly know that goat is food. It is so clearly telegraphed by that movie that I don't even think it's a spoiler if somebody hasn't seen it. When you say, oh, wait till you see the goat get eaten, they're like, oh, wait, you spoiled. No, you didn't. You didn't spoil anything. Of course that goat's going to get eaten. That's what it's there for. That's exactly why it's there. Come on. Let's not pretend. That goat was always going to get eaten, and you were going to know it when you saw it. Now, I'm going to do something interesting here that I don't usually do, which is I'm going to break through my upper layer here. Hold on. Where is this? It's got to be, yeah, it's that. All right, there we go, because I got to do this carefully. So you got to make it gradual. Otherwise, it's way, way too jarring. Did I have it over here? Oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's why. No, that's okay. See, I got to do the same thing. I really should have just mirrored that. It would have been a lot easier just to mirror that, but it's okay. It gives a little bit of variation. There we are. See? So you got to do this carefully. You can't just have it. See, and even that's not right, so we're going to have to fix that. So let's do this. Doesn't quite look right. Oh. So we'll just sweep it like that. Just a little bit. You just need a little suggestion that that's moving like that. Yeah. There we go. Just enough to make it look like it's on purpose and not just some weird thing. Okay? Just a little bit. Just a tad. I mean, does anybody really care? Probably not. Probably just me. Well, okay, that doesn't look right to me, though. Probably nobody else will care about this but me. Oh my God, English. English, everybody, English. Someday I will learn to speak it. Maybe, but probably not. Probably not. Okay, so let's get back to the thing here, the internal hair. Yeah, I'm going to do a little bit of... Oh, no, I don't like that. Hold on. See, I don't like how that's sweeping up. Got to get this the way I want it to look. Like that. There we go. I just had to come at it from a different angle. And then it made more sense. So, yeah, I liked Alien Earth. There's some... Boy, I'll tell you, it's one of the more divisive shows that I've seen in a while in terms of people who love it or hate it. I was actually watching a Twitch stream today where the person doing the stream, basically just said that the show accomplished almost nothing. And I'm not gonna say that person's wrong. The show definitely... I don't think it's a criticism, though. See, that's the thing that I think is different for me. That I've realized that I don't need everything that I watch to have to make it to some end point right away. And, some people, they have less tolerance for that. I'm not going to say they're wrong, because I think people have to, look, you should enjoy whatever you're watching. And different people have different expectations. They have different requirements. They want their media to do different things. That's okay. That's good. That's a great thing. The idea that everybody should have the same experience with a piece of art is bad news. We don't want that. What we want is diversity of opinion. In fact, I welcome the fact that there are people who actively hate some things that I love. That's good. That's what we want. Because that means that there's not a single view on things. It means that if you like things that most people don't, that you're not going to be stuck having to just see and read and experience the things that people who make stuff that's the opposite of your taste make. There's very likely going to be somebody who sees the world or things within it the way that you do. And hopefully that person or persons create art that you respond to. That's good. That's good. There are people who seem to think that that's a negative. Those people are wrong. Those people are extraordinarily incorrect. There is no right, there is no wrong in the world of art and creation. There are things that some people like and some people don't. Okay, I shouldn't say that there's no such thing as wrong. There are hateful, cruel, intentionally mean things. Those things should be condemned by people. Do I think they should be outlawed? That's a tricky thing. Do I want to see somebody who, I don't know, just to use the most basic, obvious example, do I want to see somebody who's, I don't know, taking a picture of Hitler and making it into a godlike figure, like a deity that people worship? Of course not. Of course I don't. I don't want to see anything with Hitler ever. I don't want to see any imagery of Hitler in any context ever in my life. But would I tell somebody that they can't make it? I think that's a tricky thing to do. I think it's better to say this is hateful work by a hateful person and make sure everybody's on board with that, but not stop the person from making it. If somebody is a neo-Nazi and they want to make stuff, they should be able to make it. That doesn't mean that we have to sit there and give it any more weight or credit than it's worth. But you know what? Even the existence of something like that is valuable to make sure that everybody understands why it should be condemned, why it's bad. So in that way, it is valuable. Doesn't mean I want to see it, and I won't actively seek it out. But at the same time, I think there's a real risk in saying that nobody should ever be able to make this stuff. It doesn't do what people think it does. Just trying to outlaw art doesn't mean that it suddenly doesn't exist anymore. Those hateful ideas still exist. The problem is now you don't see them, so you don't know about them anymore. And I think we should know, we should have a very clear picture of who those people are, where they are, and what they're doing. So that we can all agree that it's bad stuff and that these people are bad people. Or, to take it the optimistic way, that these are people in pain and we can reach out to them and hopefully get them back to a better place. Can't give up on that. You have to have some kind of optimism. I've been told that things can, that, you know, that people who seem like lost causes are in fact not. There's a pleasantness in that I hope is true. Some days I'm not so sure, but I don't want to give up on the concept of it. I think that's equally bad. But anyway, my larger point here before I kind of wound down a strange path was to say that Alien Earth being wildly divided in terms of people who like it and don't like it, I see that as a good thing. I like that. That's a positive to me. I don't need everybody to love it the same way I did. And not everybody will, because I don't take the Alien film canon all that seriously either, and some people I think do. The same thing with like Star Wars. There are people who always want to see Jedis and Sith and all that stuff, and that's fine. You can want that. I don't need to. I'd be fine with a movie where we never saw a lightsaber. I don't think we're ever going to get one. I think Disney just knows, or thinks it knows, what the popular version or vision for Star Wars is, and it's going to allow very little to deviate off that in terms of live action films. Certainly something like Star Wars Visions, which is animated, has more latitude to tell interesting stories, because astonishingly, for Disney being a company that made its name on animation, I think that most of the people in charge there don't take animation as seriously anymore. I think animation is not what it used to be at Disney, which is a real sad thing to say. But I do think it's at least partially true, if not entirely true. But that's too bad, because at one point Disney, for all of its plagiarism of its ideas, which don't even bother trying to argue that, Disney ripped off most of its biggest hits from existing works that were either in public domain or that they knew they could just acquire. They absolutely did. There was something on my screen. I thought maybe it was on my finger. But still, they used to do really beautiful animation. They were a top-end animation studio and company. And now they just seem to want to make live-action CG remakes of their animated stuff, which I think is really bad. I don't think that's a good thing. All my stuff is working, right? You can see this. This is, yeah, no, we're good. That's there, that's there. Okay, I just want to make sure, because strangely everything is relatively working. I see the background. Yeah, well, it seems to be working. But yeah, that's to me is sad that they don't really seem as, I mean, I'm not going to say they don't do anything with animation anymore. That would be inaccurate, but it doesn't feel like it's the priority it used to be. Maybe that's a reflection of the world. I don't know. Maybe Disney-style animation is now just gone and people don't really want it. I don't know. It's tough for me to tell. I do not have a pulse on what people want anymore. I truly don't. I couldn't tell you what is or isn't popular with any degree of anything. You know, I just know the stuff I like. And that's not me. Hold on, I'm just looking at this. Yeah, I think this goes kind of like this. This one does not have to be as perfectly circular. There we go. Let me just move that down a little bit. Sorry. You know, I don't discount everything that's new. I don't want to seem like one of those people either. I just saw a movie from 2024 that I was actually really impressed with. For the most part. I shouldn't say really impressed with. The movie in many ways is a, pardon me, is like a paint-by-numbers movie in terms of what it's doing. But I enjoyed the fact that it's a movie called Monster Island. And one thing I really do like about it is that it's a essentially, it's a Creature from the Black Lagoon film, which I don't think we get much of anymore. We don't get a lot of mer monsters the way we used to. Actually, I shouldn't even say way we used to. I don't know that we've had mer monster movies in general very much. We really haven't. We get the creatures, they pop up here and there, but not a whole movie centered around an aquatic monster the way the Creature from the Black Lagoon was done. I think it's a real shame. In this movie, it does a lot that's, again, it is somewhat a paint-by-numbers film in that it doesn't really try to do all that much that you haven't seen before in general from a monster film. But it's a practical suit. It's a person in a suit that looks very good. Actually, do I need that circle there? Hold on. I guess I should have... I guess that should be there. That shadow should exist. Sorry. I'm going to leave that on there. Yeah, it's a person in a suit. I don't know why so many people think it's CGI. It absolutely is not. And I've confirmed that. I looked it up, and no, it is a person in a suit. And it's pretty obvious it's a person in a suit because you can kind of see the seams a little bit. Not the literal seams, but the gloves that the creature is wearing. Not the best creature gloves I've ever seen. But I don't care. I really don't. I credit them, the filmmakers, for wanting to do practical stuff. And if the practical stuff sometimes gives itself away, I have no issue with that. I really do not. So I was happy to realize it was a person in a suit, Godzilla style. That's great. I'm always going to be in favor of that over a CG version. No, I shouldn't say always, but 99 times out of 100, if you're going to say, well, this is CG or it's going to be a person in a suit, I'm going to want the person in the suit most of the time. Not every single time, not every single time without fail, most of the time. So, I was happy to see a person in a suit. 5. There we go. The movie's plot is fairly easy to predict if you've ever seen a monster movie before. You're not going to be blown away by lots of big surprises or surprise reveals or anything like that. It has some small things that it does that are kind of, okay, that's nice type of changes. So it isn't that boring in terms of its plot innovation. It has little things it does, but largely you could probably predict where the movie's going to end up with 90% or better certainty if you've ever seen a monster film. And particularly if you've ever seen the films that this movie is taking a lot of its inspirations from, which would be Enemy Mine, Creature from the Black Lagoon, although that's really mostly in the creature itself. But really, it's a lot of Enemy Mine. There's a little sprinkling of Big Trouble Little China in there, and that's kind of it. So again, if you've seen those films, there are going to be things in this movie, in that movie, I should say, in Monster Island, that you will recognize and say, oh, okay, I see what they're doing there. That's not really a criticism. It's just an acknowledgement that the movie's not trying to do a lot of new things. And that sounds like it's a criticism, but it's really not. It's just something to be aware of. If you're coming in expecting it to do something really wild and surprising and different, it's not. It wants to be kind of a classic monster movie, and I think in that sense, it's very successful. And it's perfectly entertaining as a one-time watch. I doubt many people would watch it a second time, including myself, but I'm happy I saw it because, again, I can't think of a lot of examples of horror movies based around aquatic mer creatures. Creature from the Black Lagoon types. There aren't a lot that I can think of, so I'm glad I saw one. And I'm glad I saw one that was fun and that used a real suit. That's just me. I tend to like it when there's a real suit involved. So I had a good time with Monster Island. Again, because I kind of went in, and because it was, I'll be honest, some of that was because it's from 2024. And I don't watch a lot of modern horror films anymore. I really don't. because I find that many of them have a heavy reliance on jump scares, which I don't like. I think they're a very cheap mechanism that almost never works out properly. And even when they do, most of the time, the way they're used can't be reused. There are a few films that repeat jumps, or I should say, that have jump scares that work on repeated viewings. They're just not that many. Most of the time, a jump scare is kind of well, once it's happened, you're done with it because you know what's going to happen, unless it's a movie you haven't seen in, a decade or whatever and you can't remember. But it's kind of like the same thing with the Sixth Sense, the movie The Sixth Sense. I saw that movie in theaters. I somewhat guessed what the twist was, not because I was really clever. It was more of me being a smart aleck and accidentally being correct. Honestly, I can't pretend I was super intelligent and picked it up right away or whatever, noticed, the clues to it. It's just that when, I'm sorry if this is a spoiler, I guess, for a movie from, 96? It's a movie I'm not going to worry about spoiling at this point. If you haven't seen it by now, well, sorry. I guess jump ahead 30 seconds or so, or maybe a couple minutes. But anyway, when Bruce Willis got stabbed in the stomach or shot in the stomach, I don't remember which it was. But anyway, when that event happened, as a wise aleck, I remember because I went with my girlfriend at the time. I remember we went, and I said, wow. Because when he showed up later, I'm like, wow, that's unusual to survive a wound in the stomach like that. I think he was shot. I think he was shot in the stomach. And I remember that I think I had read something about being shot in the stomach being one of the worst things that can happen because, not to get too graphic about it, but your stomach contains a lot of really acidic, bad things for the rest of your body to be exposed to, particularly when it's injured. And so when he got shot in the stomach, I thought, and I said, wow, amazing that he actually survived that. Most people would have died from it, especially because he wasn't immediately treated. So I kind of had this thing in the back of my mind where I was thinking, again, I don't want to say that I knew he was dead. That makes me sound smarter than I am. I wouldn't say that. But I had this thing where I thought, I'm really having a hard time with the fact that this guy lived from what looked like a very serious gunshot wound to the stomach, to the abdomen. And sure enough, again, I guess this is a spoiler if you've never seen the movie. When it turns out he was dead the whole time, I wasn't exactly shocked. But to reiterate, I'm not saying that as if I'm some kind of film genius who picked it up where normal people wouldn't because I watch movies and I understand the cinematic language and blah, 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 blah. It's not that. It's just that I thought it was odd that a person would survive such a serious injury without any, he just appeared to be fine. Or at least not gravely affected. And I know time passes and everything, but I remember at the time thinking, and I remember saying to my girlfriend, I'm like, wow, he survived that? That's unusual. And then later when he was actually not alive, I thought, oh, okay. It's weird because that accidental prediction undid the plot hole. Because I thought, oh yeah, okay, I was right. Not that I knew he was dead, but I'm like, oh, he didn't survive. Okay. I thought that was going to be rather tough to survive, and it was. He did not. Sorry if I've spoiled a movie from the 90s for you, which at this point is a 30-plus-year-old movie. I don't think that isn't depressing for me to say out loud. But it's true. But that's what I mean, is I... Where did that come from? Where did it come from with the jump scare thing? So it's like the jump scares to me are very similar to The Sixth Sense. I liked the movie. I saw it once. I have never in my life felt the desire to watch it again because I know the twist. And I know there's clues, and I know if you watch it, you can see all the little hints and everything, and that's all fine. But for some reason, that movie does not hold up, or I shouldn't say hold up. I've never felt the need to go back and revisit it. Unlike, say, watching Fight Club again, which has a similar kind of twist to it, but, at this point, that's another one where if you don't know what the twist of Fight Club is, then you have done a great job of evading pop culture knowledge, because everybody knows the twist of Fight Club now. I mean, Tyler Durden is basically a joke at this point about having another version of yourself that you're talking to, or, whatever. So I don't even feel bad about spoiling that one, if it's even really a spoiler at this point. And I'm not convinced that it is. I'm going to give myself some layers back here. But it's the same, but for whatever reason, Fight Club does, I think because Fight Club's got so much style, it holds up on repeated viewings because the twist isn't all that it's got. It is also kind of stunning to me that it's no longer, that some people didn't understand that it was supposed to be a criticism of the concepts of masculinity and this over macho way of thinking, and instead took it literally. I don't even know what to make of those people. If you didn't understand that Fight Club was not something to idealize, I guess it's the same thing with people who look at American Psycho and think that Patrick Bateman is somebody they want to be. Okay. Really? All right. I don't get that, but okay. But that was the Fight Club thing too. And it's funny because, yeah, I feel like people got the satire of it at the time, and then almost as I feel like some kind of weird joke, people started to treat it like it wasn't an indictment on being this kind of nonsense alpha male thing. But I don't even know if I take that sincerely. I really don't know if those people are serious. That feels like a joke on people who are gullible to believe that anybody would see that movie and, again, aspire to be the Tyler Durden character. That is so weird because he's not presented as a good character. That's the joke. So I really can't take these people seriously. I just can't. I think it's got to be this thing where they want to see who's a sucker enough to believe that they're that dumb. Who's dumb enough to think we're dumb type of thing. Which, if it is in fact that, I credit them, because that's a tough maneuver to pull off. But if that's what they were doing, they did a great job. But there's a part of me that thinks they are serious, and they didn't get it. Now, maybe it helps that I read the book, and the book feels a little bit more explicit in what it's criticizing than the movie did. I guess that's a possibility too. Again, this goes back to the idea of, well, art is a tricky thing because you don't know what people are going to take from it. And that's a plus and it's a negative. It's both at the same time. There's a really powerful element to that you cannot really guarantee that what you're saying is going to be received by people the way that you think it should be. That's good and bad. It really is. Like there's a really, really fascinating kind of thing to think about in there, that, wow, people could so misread what I'm doing that they would think that this is an aspirational character, that this character that is quite clearly a buffoon to a degree is something they want to be. And that's not to say that, and this is what makes, I think, Fight Club an interesting story. Not everything that Tyler Durden says is bad, but his conclusions are so flawed. His approach to things, his kind of might makes right mentality to some degree. That's probably oversimplifying it a lot. I'm not smart enough to really be able to explain it properly. But I think in the same way that there's a saying, there's a little truth in every great lie, or something like that, or a good lie has to contain some element of truth. There's that to the Tyler Durden thing. And that's what I feel like the book does a better job of outlining, which of course it does. Books can be as long as they need to be for the author to get the idea across. Movies generally can't. Movies have to be within a certain time frame. So they have there are elements of movies that will by default suffer from the fact that they do not have the luxury of being as long. I mean, some filmmakers like Scorsese and certain other ones, Kubrick, there were filmmakers who would just make long movies, but that's an exception rather than a rule. You don't see a lot of movies that are cranking past that 3-hour mark anymore. I mean, not very often. And they're generally seen as movies that are not going to perform well in the general public. So I want to say Fight Club was, let's see, how long was Fight Club? I want to say it was a little over 2 hours, but I don't think it was much over 2 hours. Let's see, I'm curious. I'm going to take a break for a second anyway. Let's take a quick look here. How long was Fight Club? Oh, tomorrow's going to be 61 degrees. Oh, that's beautiful. It's raining right now. It's cool outside. 2 hours 19. 2 hours 19. Yeah, that's a long time. That is a long time for a movie of that was clearly not marketed as an art film per se. I just realized I never posted on here that I was doing a stream. Not that's going to matter. I mean, this stream's going to be about an hour. Wow. I'll tell you what. I've had some weird app issues lately. Just in general. Just things just locking up. Constantly having to relog into the same things over and over and over. Just bizarre. Anyway. So yeah, I mean, 2 hours 19 for Fight Club. That's a good amount of time. For a movie that had that kind of, oh, wait a minute, this is not about what we really thought it was about type of thing. I mean, I don't remember what exactly I thought Fight Club was going to be about when I saw it. Maybe that was the point, was you weren't really supposed to know. You were supposed to go in with kind of no real idea and think it was literally just about guys who beat each other up or something. I don't remember the trailer all that well. I just remember when it came out that people were talking about it, and I saw it and I really liked it. I liked it because I liked the music a lot. The Dust Brothers soundtrack was really good. And it was just something different. There was something really kind of interesting about it. And like I said, but at no point did it ever seem like you were supposed to be like, oh, Tyler Durden's awesome. Or at least not in the way you were supposed to understand that this was this character's ability, creating a persona to be able to try to force himself out of a rut. But I think some people, it feels like, thought that Tyler Durden was the thing you wanted to aspire to, even though when you watch the movie, the main character kills that persona off. Which you sit there and go, wait a minute, did you not watch the ending? Did you stop before the very end of the movie so that you can imagine that this is what you're supposed to want to be? Because it feels like that, doesn't it? That if you interpret it the way some people did, that you would have to be intentionally stopping the movie and misreading the ending or not watching the ending. Because otherwise, how would you ever, in a million years, see the movie, watch the ending, and think, oh yeah, Tyler Durden's the hero? He's not the hero. But again, I sit there and I think, are people doing this as a joke? Is this intentional to just get people to, react to somebody clearly doing something? There's a word for people who do stuff like that, which I won't say because I keep this as a family-friendly stream, but it rhymes with hit roast. There we go. That's as close as I can get to saying it without saying it. There are people who like to hit roast. That's not the actual word, that just rhymes with it, to get reactions. And that's what it feels like. That's what the Tyler Durden is a hero thing feels like to me. It's like, okay, these people are just looking for a reaction. They want to make people go, wait a minute, how could you just what I just did? Except I'm not getting angry about it. I just sit there and go, yeah, I don't really believe that anybody sincerely thinks that Tyler Durden is the hero. I think these people are getting a laugh at other people's fury over misunderstanding something intentionally. Which, like I said, in a way, I have to think is funny. And if they do actually think Tyler Durden's the hero, that's fairly sad. Not impossible. things have happened in recent events in this country that make me think, oh yeah, people are off their rockers, I think. So it could happen. It could be that people think that. And the thing too that bothers me about that is, otherwise it's a very good movie in terms of what its message is, what it's satirizing. It does it so well. And I don't know if I wouldn't say it's David Fincher's best movie. I would probably say Zodiac is his best movie. But is it his most stylish and kind of slick movie? Yeah, probably. It's got such a feeling to it. It feels of its time, and yet it is timeless. It's just really well made. It's a slick film. And making a slick film is not as easy as I think some people think it is. Or maybe people don't think that. I don't know. Maybe people don't think it's easy to make a slick film. I'll tell you what, it isn't. It's not as easy as I think some people perceive it to be. You can make a neat film, but making a slick film is not easy. Oop, sorry. Anyway, I don't want to make this entire stream about Fight Club. But if you've never seen it, it's a good movie. Just understand that it's not supposed to be taken literally. It is supposed to be a send-up of how some men see themselves or imagine that they should be, which is actually even sadder, really. Oh, why did I not? Oh, I know why. I know exactly why I didn't do that. Because, okay, this is going to be a tricky thing to do. I know why I didn't do it. This hyper masculine, super alpha male thing, which I've never understood in my whole life. I really just do not understand it. I'm very thankful, was never something that was put on me. This idea that a man has to be a certain thing or whatever, it's nonsense. It's just silly is the only word I can come up with for it. It's silly and it's unhealthy. There is no perfect version of a person that can be defined in those kind of terms. People grow into themselves. They become themselves. They form from the people around them and the ideas that they kind of come up with on their own, in this concept that there is a type of anybody that you should try to be based on, I don't know, a movie, a book, a person, whatever. It's all nonsense. It is so odd to me that people reject their individuality that way. You should want to be the only version of yourself that ever exists. You should want to go out in the world and have people say or think to themselves, I don't know if I've ever met anybody like that before, in a positive way. Now, there's ways you can be like that and it's very negative. I'm not advocating that. But if you can be out there and be a positive force, which is something we should all be trying to do anyway, but to be one in a way that nobody has seen before, that's the goal. Wouldn't you want that? Wouldn't you want to leave somebody, wouldn't you want the impression somebody has of you as, boy, I am really glad I met that person. I've never met somebody like that before, and they're somebody that I'm happy I got to know, even briefly. That's what you should want. I think. You know? As opposed to, I saw a movie with this person, I'm going to adopt that persona. Well, why? Somebody already did it. And I'm not talking about, like cosplaying for a convention. I'm talking about building your actual identity around something that somebody else has done before. That to me is so... it's just boring. I don't know why people want to do that. I really don't. And there are people who seem to want to do that. And I just can't wrap my head around it, everybody. I can't do it. I don't want to do it. You know what? Honestly, I don't want to understand it. It's such an alien concept to me. There's a person on YouTube, a person I had on the show a while ago. Individual named Brian Quarfoth. I think I'm pronouncing it correctly. who makes videos here and there. I think because of the work that he does, he can't make as many videos as he likes to. But I don't know anybody else who's quite like him. He's got this massive sense of kind of positivity and trying to make, like positive impact type stuff. And he makes great videos. They're very funny. He's so creative. You can tell. He's got so many interesting ideas. Just the opening to his latest video, which was about the newest Tron film, Tron Ares. As of me doing this live, by the time this comes out, it could be a very old video. But anyway, he did this video, but his intro to it was so awesome. And there's so many, and YouTube, of course, is a favorite punching bag of mine, so I will try not to go on about this too long. But one of the things I don't like about YouTube is how similar so many of the videos are, because people are just kind of imitating other people who have more views than they do, as if that is a path to success, which I don't think it is. And Brian doesn't do that. He does not do that. He just does a video that if you watch a bunch of his videos, you can just feel the personality of it. He's one of these people, and I know he's just got like no time. It's very obvious because he clearly wants to be able to make. He wants the. You can sense that he wants more time to make the content he wants to make, and he's just not in a position to do it, which is unfortunate because he clearly has the drive for it and the talent for it. But he's somebody I got to have him on the show twice. I really want to get him back on again whenever he has the free time, and it may be a while before that. But that door is always open because he's one of these people. He's one of these people where I'm like, I don't know that I've met anybody quite like this individual. And it's a person I want to talk to more. That's what people should want. Not to be the 80th version of something that somebody else has already seen before. Yeah, again, I do not understand people who form their identity around anything that's come before. Now, it doesn't mean that there aren't things that you like and absorb from other people. We're all product of influences and people that we like. We take on characteristics. That's not what I'm talking about. That's not it. I'm talking about adopting a persona that is fully formed or nearly fully formed off of someone else. It's, luckily I see these because people point them out to me. I fortunately do not look at any of this garbage myself. But there's all these videos of these kind of, I don't know, they consider themselves to be health advocates or health nuts or whatever. They're really just lunatics who, go into supermarkets and yell at people for buying food because they disapprove of what they're eating. Tell them, oh, you're stuffing yourself with terrible chemicals, blah, blah, with no knowledge, by the way, no knowledge of why the person's buying what they're buying. They don't know them. They have no basis to criticize. But there's a bunch of them, and the thing is, they're all kind of the same. They're all formatted largely the same. They're all the same kind of annoying, know-it-all jerks. And I sit there and go, see? It's because these people are all imitating each other. Is that what we want to be? Is that what anybody really wants to be? Because I can't understand that. Okay, I was just making sure I was on the right size. I thought I was. I was just making sure that I didn't accidentally... Because when you're zoomed in, you can't necessarily see the size of all the brush and everything. It's like, okay. Oops, my pen just lost its connection for a second. The pencil, I should say. That's kind of sad to me. Not even kind of sad. It is sad. I mean, those videos, number one, are the kind of videos where you sit there and you just want these people to get punched. There's a term, a punchable face. Almost all these guys have punchable faces. And it isn't just their faces, it's their attitudes, it's their kind of snide, dismissive, cruel way of addressing people and judging people. But there's so many of them that are the same. There's a lot of them, the guys just don't wear shirts for some reason. And some, they're in good shape, but I don't know. So what? Why do I care? But a lot of them do it. A lot of them think that there's something really hyper awesome about going into a public space without a shirt on and then yelling at people about what they're buying from a grocery store. I you sit there and you just kind of marvel at it and go, what happened to you? Who hurt you, sir? Who hurt you? Show us on your body where this person hurt you. My bet is it's right where your heart's supposed to be. And you sit there and you kind of pity those people because something terrible clearly went on or is going on where they don't feel like they are in a position where they can do anything other than try to make other people feel bad. And the moment you get to a point in your life where the only joy you have is in making other people feel bad, you need to go get help. Public service announcement to anybody who may ever see this, if anybody ever sees this. If what makes you happy is other people being unhappy, you have to get that fixed. You have to get that fixed. The great joys of life should be in basking in and providing others with joy and happiness. Wow, I just realized something that I had forgotten. On the Walkman, I did see that correctly, right? I think on the Walkman, when the tape rewinds, I think the button presses. I didn't remember animating that. That's a stupid little detail that I do have to add some texture to that Walkman thing. That Walkman thing's got to have some texture added to it. Looks a little bit drab. I'll find. I have the animation somewhere. I'm going to fix that at some point. Give it like a leather kind of texture or something. Anyway, what should make you happy is making others happy. That should be a primary source of joy, is doing something that brings others happiness. Really should. If something that makes you happy is somebody else suffering, unless that person is like a mass murderer or something, and even then, I don't know that it's healthy to celebrate somebody else's misery. I just don't know if that's ever a happy position to be in. But regardless, if your joy comes from others' unhappiness or humiliation or pain, then there is something deeply broken within you and you should get it fixed. You should go find somebody who will listen to you and help you understand why that's bad. You really should. That's not a place you want to be for long. Because it just can't end well for anybody. It really can't. And what I think a lot of those people don't understand is they're only making themselves more unhappy. They think they're happy, but there's really no good end to that. It just isn't. So, like I said, and that's kind of, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I've always been a really happy, positive person, because that would not be true. But some of the ways that I moved away from unhappiness I used to have more often was in that realization that I don't want to drag other people down to be unhappy like me. I'd rather get up to the point where I'm happy like they are. There's lots of ways that can happen. It doesn't mean that it's easy. And I'm not saying that like you could just flip a switch and make that happen. People are unhappy for all different reasons. Many times it's stuff that they can't figure out how to get out of on their own. Don't be afraid to ask for help from whoever you need it from. Most people in your life, if they care about you, will want to help you. Most times. You know, there are some unfortunate circumstances where people are kind of left without any help, but there are professionals out there. You can reach out. There are hotlines, there are avenues, there are people out there. You can get help if something is not right. And you shouldn't be afraid to get that help. People should not ever think that they shouldn't be able to ask for help if they need it. Unfortunately, I think a lot of people do feel like that. They think there's going to be, I guess, more judgment of them. Maybe the very judgment they put onto others, they're afraid of getting to themselves if they admit that they need help. Well, if you need help, ask for it. It's that simple. Not everything can be handled on your own. There's nothing wrong with that. Life can be very overwhelming. It really can. So, better to get help. There is something on my screen. I keep feeling it. Unless it's on my hand. Hold on. Where is that? I keep like feeling it. Oh wait, I think I may have just gotten it. Maybe it was on my hand. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, it's gone now. Okay. Anyway, I'm not trying to make this into some big, dismal thing. I'm just saying. Put as much joy into your life as you can. And have that joy, as much as you can manage it, come from bringing happiness to others. That's a great thing. If you can manage that, and in a way where you're generating that in a way and as a person that people will remember in a positive way. It's an amazing thing if you can manage it. It's not easy. I'm not sitting here telling you that's a simple thing, but you can do it. You can do it. It can be done. Oh, I just realized there's one more thing I have to do. Not on that one, maybe on this one. Yeah, this one. These hairs here. Let me do like this. There we are. Put that there. So this one come up. Oh, well, I know it's close to an hour now because my iPad is getting quite warm where the processor is. Oh, I know what I did there. Okay, this goes up. Quite warm. So yeah, that would be that's my message of the, look at this guy, he's great. That's my message of the day, everybody. Bring joy to people in some way. That's why I do this stream. Obviously, it's not for the viewer counts. I'm not making any money off it. It's because I'd like people to see it and be happy they saw it. I think that even if it's only a few people, that's still good. I'll take that. Just turn the blue layer off for a minute. Oh yeah, he's coming along. He's coming along. My sheep guy is coming along. Yes, he is. Oh, I'm looking forward to finishing this one. I saw this one, because in the show, you never see this image. You never see the teeth where it's smiling. And the whole idea is I want this image to, it's basically going to say, when it's done, it'll say, nice. Oh, I realized the mirroring was on. Sorry. Let me go to a non-mirrored one. It's going to say, nice to see you. Or so nice to see you, it might say. Something like that. Which, you know, pun. I don't manage a lot of good puns, but I manage some. So anyway, that's where this thing is heading. Anyway, on that note, let me do that. And yeah, so hopefully these streams bring some people some joy. That's really the point. That's really why I do them. So people can see that they can draw and have a good time. Just relax, you know. In any event, I think that's where I'm going to bring this stream to a close. I was aiming for an hour. We're right at an hour. I got a lot of work done. So, wow. Look who showed up. Rojan of Project Archivist, right when I'm about to end my stream. Of course. I'm like 2 minutes from ending my stream. Hold on, though. Did you see the sheep? Or did I already stop sharing before you saw it? Also, hello. Man, I can't believe you shot. Man, I have such bad luck with timing. I really do. So many of the people that I would love to be talking back and forth with, they show up right when I'm about to end it. I guess maybe I need to change the time I do these things. I'm really awful with it. I've sat here for almost an hour and there's been nobody. I've just been talking into the ether. And then somebody that I haven't talked to for a while that I would be happy to chat with shows up. Well, here, just in case you didn't see it, let me re-enable this. Hold on a second. I cannot believe 9,085 people had that username before you got to it. Unless you have that number for a reason. That seems very, very surprising to me. Hold on. Let me do this. Hold on a minute. I think I'll still show back up. Hold on. Do this. Where is he? There he is. All right, here. Let me do this. Bang. Wait. Oh, right. Sorry. Ooh. Wait. Where is it? Oh, I forgot. I have to yeah. I don't know why it does that. No, not the properties. Just give me the window. There it is. And boom. There we go. There he is. The eye sheep from Alien Earth. Yeah. And he's getting there. It's almost animated, but it's really not. Yeah. Basically, when the stream started, there was only a few black lines. Now there's quite a few on them. I still have a lot to go. You can see this is the messed up side of them. my Halloween image. Anyway, as I was saying, the iPad is heating up because it tends to like me to only go for an hour. So, all right, why is this still going? Let's get this thing down. Oh, there it goes. So anyway, yeah, that's where we're gonna bring the stream to. I cannot believe this little piece of foam has been sitting on my desk for like 2 days. I have to throw this thing out. Right in front of me. There we go. Sorry, that has nothing to do with the stream. You don't care. But, oh, why is the Photoshop layer on? Turn the Photoshop layer off. There is no Photoshop layer. Anyway, what I was getting at was winding up the stream by, what was I winding up the stream with? I don't even remember now where I was going with that. Oh, it doesn't matter. I'll end it like I always end it. So, thanks for being here. I think that's where I was going with. So, thanks for hanging out on the stream for a while. Or watching it later. I don't care. Whenever people see it, they see it. Doesn't matter to me. Like I said, I'm not trying to, nor will I ever generate any big numbers through streaming. It's just never going to happen, and I'm perfectly fine with that. I really am. That's why you don't see a bunch of stuff. I mean, there's the scan for links to all my stuff. That's, go follow that if you want. But really, I just do this to have fun. So thanks for watching this, whether it's live or later, doesn't matter to me. And as I try to always end my streams by saying, go find a creator whose work you appreciate and do something to support them. I'm not talking about me. I'm fine at the moment, which is not something a lot of people can say, but I'm fine at the moment, so I don't need any help. So go find somebody who does need help. Somebody who's trying to make their living entirely off content creation. Somebody who's struggling, they're having a medical thing, or something has happened, or whatever, they just need help. Go find somebody whose work you've enjoyed in the past or recently or whatever, and try to do something to help that person out. And it doesn't have to be monetary. It does not have to be money. Not everybody has money they can donate to somebody else. That's fine. Reshare that person's work. Comment on something. Send them a note saying, I really like the work that you do. Simple things. It does not have to be, oh, I'm going to donate $100 to you. It doesn't have to be that type of stuff. If you could do something like that, by all means, do it. Some people do have a bunch of money laying around. They don't know what to do with it. Well, then give it to somebody who needs it. Whatever avenue that is. But it doesn't have to be that. It's very easy to think that if you're not donating money or doing some kind of monetary subscription, whatever support, it's not all about that. Many creators will get as much out of just knowing that somebody is enjoying their work or knows that they're creating something as out of getting a donation. It is just as valuable because many creators struggle with whether they're going to just keep doing it, especially if they're starting out or don't have huge numbers or whatever it is they're aiming for. If they haven't achieved that yet, then hearing from somebody that you appreciate their work, that's very valuable to them. So do that little thing. It will probably matter way more than you think it will. So anyway, having said that, thanks for coming by. Again, live or later, doesn't matter to me. Appreciate you being here in whatever form you are. Go support a creator that you enjoy. And until the next stream, thanks for being here and take care.